The Alpha Sessions. Welcome to today's Alpha Sessions. I'm so excited to be here today to interview Pien, with a singer-songwriter, to talk about her artistic journey, her inspiration, and her new era of music. Pien, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm normally on your side of the mic, so it's really nice to be back on the artist side. So
That's it. It's all about you today.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
And we get very excited as well to hear your music, hear your live performances. Before we get to that, so for anyone discovering your music for the first time, how would you introduce them to it? How would you describe your music in a few words?
I really love this question because, if I may say so, normally I don't praise myself for a lot of things, but I praise myself for the way I describe my music, which is I call it country music for the indie girlies.
Right. Okay. Very specific.
Very specific. Very
so
specific.
Kind of does that mean it sort of has a little bit of an edge?
Yeah, I would say so I call my genre indie Americana. And what I mean by that is I really love the traditional aspects of Americana country music. So that's what you'll find in my music. And what I mean by that are all sorts of finger picking styles, loads of guitars, harmonies, really the traditional country songwriting. But there is always a little twist. This can be an interesting vocal effect, or maybe when we're talking about vocal production, maybe more traditional indie kind of vocal production, or some sort of a reverb on a vocal, or we're throwing in maybe an instrument like an electric violin, that sort of thing, to just give it a bit of an edge. Keep you on your toes. Yeah.
And your love for this kind of music, has that come from you exploring it as an artist, or from listening? Is that where it began?
Well, it's funny because so I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I moved to the UK roughly 4 or 5 years ago, and there is this massive. So the Netherlands is not really known for country music. Back in the day, I sound so old. I'm only 28, but let's say 18 years ago, when I was 10 years old, there's this one lady. Her name is Ilse de Lange, and she really introduced on a mainstream level, national radio kind of level, country music to the Netherlands. And she was signed, I believe, with Universal in Nashville at the time. I'm speaking early 90s, zeros, that sort of stuff. And my parents are not necessarily country music fans, but they loved her music. Yeah. So I remember, again, I'm going to sound old again, buying CDs. I had a CD player that used to be my dad's. And then there was a charity shop in the small town that I grew up in where you can buy CDs for €1. And I would go and find all the Ilse de Lange CDs I could for €1 and just play them in my room. And I just got mesmerized by just the harmonies, and I don't know what it is, but country music has so much magic in it, from the instrumentations to the storytelling. And because of her, whenever I would watch interviews with her on YouTube or on telly, she would reference other people, and I would look that up. And then even in the newspaper, I would find artists more American artists like Casey Musgraves or Margot Price. And it kind of snowballed from there. But then by the time I was a teen, it wasn't really cool to listen to country music.
Well, I was going to say, especially here in the UK, it's not necessarily the favourite genre when you ask someone here. And you said you obviously came from the Netherlands and you came here. How have you found that? Has the audience been more accepting of it, or how have you found?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's funny because, I started my career 4 years ago when I moved to London. It was a kind of all or nothing kind of moment. And I was still not... I call it kind of I was still closeted in the country genre, and only last year, I was a bit I like it, but I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm definitely not going to really release music with it, because again, it still wasn't really popular. Only really the last, I would say, 2-3 years, it got a bit more mainstream, and still isn't really, but it's on its way. And it's funny because I'm going to release actually a new single on the 3rd of July that I originally wrote as a country song, but I was still in my indie dream pop era. So at the time I worked on it, produced it and released it as a dream pop indie kind of single, and now I'm releasing it this time around as how it was meant to be, in its country origin. So that's really exciting. I think it's a beautiful example of how when I started in indie dream pop and then finally allowed myself whilst making my debut EP, which was released last year, that kind of really, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get out of this closet, I'm going to kick out of there and just going to show people what's really me and really show myself. And I think it's funny, I've been talking a lot about it when I'm a host and doing these interviews with artists as well. Like, I was just such a perfectionist and such a people pleaser, still am, but less than I used to be. And I was just so worried about, am I doing it right? Because I didn't go to school to make music. I did drama most of my life, musical theatre. I always say I have a master's in jazz hands. So I don't know.
Could be helpful.
Could be helpful. To be fair, it's good for entertaining purposes. But it doesn't really teach you how to write a song or what a good production is. So I literally, when I moved to London, Googled, how do you record a song? And went from there and then met the right people who kind of taught me how to do it and what is me and what not. So it was really like, okay, I think I got it now. I know who I am, and we're now going to go full blast into the more country Americana scene. And it's so funny because since I relaunched myself as an Americana country artist, last September, things have just been happening. People have been finding me a lot easier. Like I said earlier to you, all of a sudden after the release of my single Here's To, I got people DMing and emailing me to ask me to play certain shows. I got into different artist development kind of programs. And I think it's mainly because I've never been so myself in my music as with this new era. And I really feel like I'm telling an important story that's close to me, but also close to people. And I think it's also because, so the EP that I wrote was called According to Plan, my debut EP, and was about that I used to plan my life 5 years ahead. And what happens when the plans don't work, which happened with me. I planned my years 5 years ahead, and then I had all sorts of things in my private life happening that kind of threw that all under the bus. And I was like, what am I going to do now? And that was basically what the EP is about. It's also a lot about love. And after that EP, I was like, okay, I'm done writing about love. I think we covered that. I think it's time now to write my origin story and where I'm from the town that I grew up in, and my parents and their relationship with their parents and with me, but also with what kind of people did I surround myself with for the last few years, and why did I do that? Where is that coming from? And just the whole journey that I've gone. I'm at the moment working with a new producer who've been working with some really cool country people here in the UK about a song called Younger Self, which will probably out in November, probably. Don't quote me on this.
Around that time.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come back. That's basically about would my younger self be happy with how far I've come, or have I let her down? Or
it's interesting. You're answering quite a lot of my questions that I have, and I've got so many that are popping up.
I keep yapping. I'm really good at yapping.
But it's wonderful. But I really want to dive deep with regards to that evolving of your artistry. But before we get there, kind of you sort of touched on sort of your Netherlands heritage and coming to London. So two very different experiences, I would think. I mean, I've never been to the Netherlands. I'd like to go. But how has that shaped you? That sort of those last maybe 5-6 years you said you've been here with your heritage. Has that shaped you as an artist or as a person?
It's funny because I always talk really down onto my heritage. I'm always like, oh, I'm so happy I left. I am really happy I left the Netherlands, because I think for me it was a very, in a certain way, a toxic environment. Because, for example, we have this saying in the Netherlands that basically says, if we roughly translate it, don't just act normal, because that's already too crazy for us.
Right, okay.
So anything, even one pinky out of the box,
basically stay in your lane sort of thing.
Stay in your lane and don't even effing dare to even think about going out of that. And Dutch people were known for being very blunt and for very honest, hence why one of my songs is called Totally Honest. Not necessarily about that, but a little sidetrack. We're very quick to judge. And funnily enough, my time in the UK, I really learned to do that less. To don't judge people that easily by their cover. And I always say to my parents and to my friends, I think I'm a nicer person since I moved to the UK because of that. I have a little bit more, I guess, also understanding about what's happening with different people that I would never be in touch with from like different countries, but also just what life here is really like, and not just judge it based on, I guess, what you see on social media or what you know of it. It's funny though, because my dad, I say sorry now way more often than I used to do, and every time I say it, he's like, stop it. It's so annoying, because it's so funny, because
it's very British.
It is very British, but I love it, because at least it means to me that you're aware of what you're doing. Whilst in the Netherlands, we just bump into each other and don't even look at you, and never apologize unless it's like really like a thing you should be apologizing for, but even then we're too stubborn to apologize. So it's nice, I guess, that the Brits are a bit softer, and maybe a bit softer in a way.
I think that's a pretty cool like self-awareness moment. I think that's quite
absolutely
a beautiful thing.
And I never thought I would learn that from this country, because I was like, how much can you change really moving countries? But it's insane. But like I said, I think I'm a better person now than I was when I still lived in the Netherlands.
Well, I think that's a lovely lead into your new one of the performances that you did that you're going to do for us here. So give us a little bit, just an intro of Totally Honest.
Oh yeah,
and then we can, after we hear that performance, get right into it.
Absolutely. So like I said, Dutch people are known for being very honest and very blunt, but it doesn't mean that when we're feeling down that we're honest about it, or people in general. I feel that's just like a universal kind of thing. So Totally Honest is basically about feeling overwhelmed, feeling just mental health wise not great, just putting that face on and keep going and going, while actually deep down inside you just want to cry. You just want to break down and cry and just want to have that release. So, and I think it's good that we let each other know that there is a space for that and that we're allowed to do that. And also just to cry and let it all go and then move on again. I love doing that. When I'm really tired, I just love to cry, put a sad song on, I just cry, and then it's out of my system, and then I can go again. And I feel sometimes there's a bit of a stigma, or people like to make it bigger than it really is. And I'm like, no, sometimes we just need to cry, need to say, I'm not feeling great today, but tomorrow's a new day. So yeah, that's what Totally Honest is about.
So let's take a little listen. This is Totally Honest by Pien.
I haven't seen you for a while, haven't touched you for a month or two, and I really don't know why. Guess you also have no clue. So much changes over time. Lately I've been feeling blue. I've been thinking for a while now. We should catch up soon. Just to be totally honest, to be harshly blunt, I couldn't find the energy to make this work. To be totally honest, to be harshly blunt, I couldn't face, I told you so, and that's stupid. Smart. This is sticking in my head. It's been eating me for hours every day. It makes me nervous, makes me mad. So I just let it do its thing. Just to be totally honest, to be harshly blunt, couldn't find the energy to make this work. To be totally honest, to be harshly blunt, I couldn't face, I told you so, and that's stupid. Smart. To be totally honest, to be harshly blunt. All I wanna do right now is cry till it doesn't hurt. My fingers are shaking and my lips can't shape a word. Wish I could burn these feelings with the rest of the dirt. To be totally honest, totally honest, totally honest. To be totally honest, to be harshly blunt, I couldn't find the energy to make this work. Totally honest, to be harshly blunt, I couldn't face, I told you so, and that's stupid. Smart.
The Alpha Sessions.
Thank you, Pien. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I love that. And there's something about like your voice, particularly in that song, I think. I mean, it's a mood.
Oh, yeah.
But something sort of almost otherworldly, I find. Like, I really I love that. About your sort of how you are expressing your songs and your feelings. And from what you've said as well about sort of your evolution as a person, allowing yourself to feel those things and also write about them. What does vulnerability mean to you? And with it obviously being called totally honest, is that something that is very important to you in your songwriting, to be totally honest and to share maybe those uncomfortable truths?
Absolutely. And I think, funnily enough, so I released my EP last year and then I was like, done with like time for my origin story, done with love songs, blah blah blah. And then one of the things I really told myself was like, okay, it's really time now to go deep, and you will only send demos to producers of the songs that made you cry. So this year I will be releasing 5 different singles, and they all made me cry whilst writing them. I even have what I do normally. I'll just write something and I'll record it on my phone. And loads of these songs I had to do retakes because you just hear me sobbing halfway through, or the pages I write like old school on like a notebook. So every so often mid like chorus or whatever, you hear like from like the page that I needed to turn, which is so funny because all the producers I work with love that part. And I'm always like, oh, just ignore it. And I'm like, no, it's great. Love it. But I feel, especially nowadays, there's just so much that's like hitting us in the face every day. It doesn't matter if you like in a normal 9 to 5 or an artist or just a human being. I just feel like it's tricky because of course social media is so much about like putting a face up, but also gets more honest, but there is still like this weird divide. And I just feel what I really want to do with my music, when you listen to it, that it feels like a warm hug, that you can hear through my voice that I'm telling you between the lines of the lyrics, I'm here for you, I see you, and it will be okay.
I think that's important. I think music does do that. You know, you can feel seen from a song or from a lyric. And I think as well, juxtaposed with social media, which can be very contrived, which can be very polished, it's refreshing to see the cracks and to see, you know, what is often the human experience, right? It's not all rainbows and butterflies.
Absolutely.
all the time. Yeah. And you are providing a safe space.
Absolutely. That's my number one. And I think because I'm so vulnerable, and I guess allow myself to be so vulnerable whilst writing it, and I always try to really keep like that and try to hold on to it whilst I'm in the studio, which is tricky sometimes because you have to think of all sort of things. Oh, am I singing this right? Do I want maybe another guitar line on this? That sort of thing. But I really try to keep it as vulnerable as possible, so you will hear that in the vocals as well, to really touch people and also to just give them a new perspective on things, because that's what music have always done for me. So why not give that back?
And when you are writing a song, what is that process like for you when it's sort of at the beginning? Do you often lead with like a feeling or that warm hug that you want to provide, or is it a lyric or a guitar riff? How does it often start for you?
It's funny because this question has been asked to me a lot. I used to be like, oh, it depends or whatever. But I've noticed lately that it's always lyrics first. I have literally a notes app full of lyrics, and I really can't wait. I'm going to start writing soon again for next year. And I already have so many ideas also from so I have now 3 singles out, or almost 3 singles out, in that new mindset, in that new songwriting style, and the feedback that I'm getting from fans and strangers and industry people and whatever has been so touching and inspiring for me to even go further and even maybe say the things in my songs some people don't want to hear. Like, for example, I'm a big feminist and an advocate, like anti-Brexit and that sort of thing. So I think it's time for me.
So it's making you braver?
Yeah. Which is weird because, again, I'm still not a massive people pleaser, but I'm still a people pleaser in a way. But I don't know. I think opening up like I've done in the last few releases made me indeed a bit braver. And I'm like, and also I've met more people since I'm more open about like feminism and that sort of thing online who are in my corner. That also makes me feel like, oh, you know what? It's actually not bad to piss off some people and then really connect with other people because of what you said.
Well, I guess to share what's important to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things that you believe in.
Yeah.
Is there anything off limits in terms of your songwriting? Anything that is just like a no-go? I wouldn't go there.
Well, I would go anyway, because I'm also all about the experiment. But I know, for example, when we're talking about like songs about family and loved ones and whatever.
I mean, that can be a little bit tricky.
Well, I have a certain family member that I don't really like, so I'm already thinking about how can I put that like delicately in a song. So that will be a good songwriting exercise, actually. But for example, my partner of 3, almost 4 years, he's a very private person. So when I wrote the song according to plan about him, he was very like, okay, cool, but not sure about it. Not because he didn't like the song, but just the fact that he is so private and I'm a bit more comfortable with that. So I would say maybe another song about him wouldn't be really on the cards, but
I guess that's part and parcel of sometimes dating an artist, though. That uses experience, isn't it? It often is your fuel, is your inspiration.
It is, but I guess he was lucky that I now decided not to write any love songs anymore. But
he's off the hook.
Yeah. But it's funny because since I'm with him, he made me look at privacy and the intimacy of that totally different. Because I'm an open book. Any rando on the street can ask me for like my email address and where I live. I won't tell them, but you can. Or what my life story is. I'll tell you that. I don't care. Because I just love connecting with people and hearing about their stories. So, of course, when you share their stories, you have to share yours.
Yeah.
But he taught me that it's actually good to keep some things for yourself, especially on social media, and that there's a beauty in that and not just like, oh, I don't want to hide that from the rest of the world.
Yeah, there's a good in both, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's keeping that bit for yourself.
Yeah.
But sharing the parts of you that you are comfortable sharing.
Oh, absolutely. And you can always still share it, but then it's in a slightly more poetic
It doesn't have to be like literally, like, you know.
Not too literally.
Word for word. Exactly. Embellish it a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a listen to the song Sun. Tell us a little bit about what that's about before we hear it.
Yeah. So that's the first single out of the 5 that I released this year with, again, this new mindset of writing about my origin story. And so this song is very special because this song is about my dad. He is an only child like me, and he grew up in a very traditional household in a fisherman's town in the Netherlands. And his parents wanted him after high school to just find a job, stay in the town where he's from, find a nice girl, marry her, and that's it. Whilst my dad, like me, wanted to escape as soon as possible, travel the world, go to college, that sort of thing. And it's funny because he had really heated like arguments about that with his parents. And then when I guess they became my grandparents, every time when I mentioned music, they always supported me. And I was so confused by that whenever I would hear my dad's stories about his relationship with his parents, because I was like, well, if they always have supported me, why couldn't they do that for him? So that's basically about that dynamic and me, spoiler, coming to terms and finally be able to understand where it's coming from. And I guess giving my dad his flowers for still doing what he wanted to do and not just listen to them.
Well, let's take a little listen to Sun.
Every other day you try to be straight from the past that keeps knocking on your door. Hey, it is okay that you had to walk away to find your own version of life and not one day forced on you. I am your daughter and you'll always be the son. The truth isn't always straight, even though they're gone. I am your daughter and you'll always be the son. You can't hide my memories and pretend it wasn't fun. You know you couldn't obey, so for me you let them stay. Where one eye open and the front door key in your pocket. So you know the past is always one step closer to your thinking. So you know the past is always one step closer to your think. I am your daughter and you'll always be the son. The truth isn't a one-way street, even though they're gone. When I saw you crying during the final goodbye, I knew you shared my memories, but couldn't erase the other ones. I am your daughter, and you'll always be the son. The truth isn't a one-way street, even though they're gone. I am your daughter, and you'll always be the son. You can't hide my memories and pretend it wasn't fun, 'cause for you it wasn't fun. Cause for you it wasn't fun.
The Alpha Sessions.
That was Sun by Pien, another really beautiful song and very vulnerable again, and dealing with a very different subject, sort of family dynamics.
Yeah.
How did your dad feel about that song?
It's so funny you're asking, because he is not a lyrics guy, which is so funny to me because I'm all about lyrics. Lyrics for me always come first. And as soon as I played the song, I was really nervous. We played at the kitchen table after like dinner, and I was like, oh God. Because I know my mum is high sensitive, so she cries, like not all the time, but like if there's a little bit of emotion,
That's tricky when you make songs to make people cry, then your mum's going to be crying a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh no, another portion of water works. And then my dad was just like, oh yeah, it's really cool. And he was like bragging about it. So it's my mom. He was like, oh, I got a song and you don't. And my mom was like, no, I want a song. And I was like, you'll get a song someday. Don't you worry. And it's funny because I played it in front of him now a couple of times live. And for me, it's so emotional because I feel like I'm directly talking to him. But he's just vibing. He is just like, I love this tune. It's very musically. You'll hear definitely on the versions online, like on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff. It's based on live albums from like Bruce Springsteen and Fleetwood Mac, which is his kind of vibe. So I get it, and he's just like, oh, I'm just vibing.
So you put a lot of like your dad's taste in it as well. It wasn't just
not
lyrics
on purpose,
and the story,
but yeah, I guess so. I just really wanted to create with this song a version that wouldn't be too different from how we would play it live with a band, because sometimes it can be quite different. But I thought it would be nice if you could just instantly recognize a song because it's same on the recording as live. And yeah, I just love how smug he is about it. He's just telling everyone, I mean,
it's a beautiful gift, isn't it? It's a beautiful gift. So you've had quite an artist journey, and I guess the version of you now is quite different from when you first started, or before sort of this transition happened. I mean, what would you say to that other version of you who maybe was a little bit more unsure, who was more of a people pleaser, who was still finding her way? What would you, because other people will be in that situation maybe now that are listening, that are trying to find their voice. What would you say?
You know, not saying like dance like nobody's watching. I would say sing or write like nobody's watching, with no intent of releasing, just for yourself. And also because I was quite, I guess, scared to do things wrong and to, I guess, push away certain group of people and getting into like the group of people and the genre that I'm really interested in. And of course, kind of like behind the scenes, really doing research on it and like listening to it. I would say like, I guess, yeah, like write or sing like nobody's watching. And it's so cliche to say, let's just do it, because that's not how it works, you know. You can't just push yourself in something like that. You just need to be ready.
I guess it's a process, right?
It is a process, but I would, again, definitely say just write or sing like nobody's watching. Keep that maybe with you. Work on it on your own terms. And then whenever you feel ready, it's okay to take your time as well, because I feel sometimes
I think that's
get
actually a really important point, right?
People get pushed all the time, like, oh, you have to release something, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. What you also can do, it really helped me, is what I'm doing now with my little group of fans. We have this lovely little group chat on Instagram, and I send them demos of like things that I'm not sure of. So maybe if you have fans or maybe a group of friends who also make music or don't make music, maybe even better, send them and then see how they respond to it. And just take it step by step. Don't feel forced to like break that door. Although I kind of want to say to my, I guess, younger self now, from just do it. You have nothing
get on with it.
Get on with it. F's sake.
But I think, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that little push, but at the same time, giving yourself grace and allowing yourself to take the time that you need.
And experiment.
And play, right?
Yeah, just play. Like the other day, literally, I was in the shower and then this idea came up. And I was like, I don't really dare to sing it like that with my voice. But then I pressed record anyway on like my vocal memo notes app. And I got this like 10-minute thing out, so I still need to go through it and then see what I want to use. And I'm so happy I did, because it also was such a relief. I felt it was like a few stones on my shoulders, like some weight there, and then it got off. So even just for your own mental health, because you're probably also like cramping it inside. So just letting it out and then decide later what you want to do with that. And yes, play. Just play, because who cares? You don't immediately have to like upload it anywhere. You can just do it for yourself. I
think that's a really important part as well of being an artist, is the stuff that you don't necessarily share.
Yeah.
You know, it is that exploration, it's trying different things, finding out the things that don't work, often I think are just as important as the things that do.
Absolutely. Maybe even more.
And in terms of like, as being an independent artist, what do you feel is like the biggest misconception that people have about that?
Ooh, about being an independent artist?
Yeah.
Ooh. I guess that's easy.
That it's easy.
That's easy. especially people who don't make music. Like well, it also depends on the crowd, of course, but I used to play a lot of pub gigs, and then people would throw, like, even though I didn't tell anyone we would do requests or anything, people keep throwing songs at you, and I'm like, oh yeah, why don't you just sing something? And I'm like, well, I'm here to do my job. I'm not going to tell you, I know if you're an accountant, like, hey, can't you just do my numbers? It doesn't work like that. Yeah. We're not like monkeys with our little, like,
those
dancing.
little toy little things. I know exactly what you mean.
We're not like that. So I guess that is easy. I think I love being an independent artist because of all decisions I'm able to make, and all. I really like to put on different hats. It can be overwhelming sometimes, especially with the admin kind of stuff.
I think that's a biggie, isn't it? It's how much you have to do as an independent artist. I think for me, I find people don't realise like what goes into it, and often the creativity is sometimes the lesser part because you're trying to do all the other things.
That's why I haven't written a new song in like 4 or 5 months probably, and that's why I really need to plan writing sessions with myself in my calendar, because otherwise it's just not going to happen, because you're so busy indeed with the other stuff, especially when you're releasing so much like I am doing this year. Or the one that really annoys me, although I'm kind of okay with it now, is when, like, I guess people with normal jobs just come up to you and be like, hey, why don't you just email this artist to open for them? Or, hey, why don't you just email this radio DJ if they can, like, play your song? And I'm like, well, I already tried that like a million times.
If it was that easy,
yeah, it's just, It's a blessing and a curse, but I do really love it because of the people that you made and the stories that you share. And it's funny because I'm a really impatient person, but I went on a little break, like a holiday, to Cornwall early in April, and then I don't know what it is, but something shifted during that trip, where I kind of allowed myself to finally enjoy the journey. Because that's the one thing they always say, enjoy the journey. And I was like, well, I don't have time to enjoy it. I want it now. And I think I've been finally now able to do it. But that's also because I opened for, like, quite a big country artist in America. She came to the UK on a tour. Her name is Zoe Jean Foiler. And she said in an interview that I saw on her Instagram, and we also talked about it before I opened for her, she was like, nowadays, labels want you to have it all together. That you're already, like, got this train moving and they just want to jump on it. So don't wait for them to give you all the opportunities and for them to believe in you. Just start doing it yourself and they'll jump on your train. Because also that way, you know better what you want. You'll be better at negotiating the right deals. And you have just a better product to sell. I hate to say it, but we're all products. And it's about not necessarily how shiny you are, but it is about how well it works.
I guess one big plus of doing everything yourself is you are more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you will be perhaps more direct or more stronger in what you accept. I mean, it's great, obviously, to have a label. They can advance you to a next level. But sometimes that can come at a price. And
it will be less sustainable as well. Because if you get like a 360 deal, for example, but you don't know who you are, what you want to be and what you want to sound like, and a label has all these expectations of you, you're not going to last very long. Whilst as an independent artist, you have, I guess, in a way, the luxury of figuring it out, developing, and also meeting other independents on the way, and maybe one of your friends gets signed, and then you can help each other still because you still have that indie mindset.
Right. Now we've got one more song to hear.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Tell her we got so into chatting. So this final song, tell us about this one, introduce it, and tell us about this song.
This is a very special one because
unreleased, a bit of an exclusive.
Yeah,
right?
It is an exclusive. I am planning to release it in September. I even don't know yet when. It's almost ready to go. It's still in mixing and mastering, so very exclusive. It's called "Addicted to the Struggle." And it's basically about how I've my entire life always taking the long way around, always need a little bit more time to understand certain things. Let's say in jobs, in like the old job, side hustles, that sort of thing, but also with friendships and learning new skills And I guess in a way I'm addicted to that struggle of like taking all my energy, and even though it means I get thrown by the wall, just like climb back up and do it again until I get it right. And I'm really excited for this one to come out, especially because we shot some really cool like visuals and whatever for it. And if anyone knows Ella Langley's Choosing Texas, this is kind of my version of that. So I can't wait for people to hear it.
So an exclusive for the Alpha Sessions, unreleased song, but hopefully will be released in the upcoming months. Addicted to the Struggle.
I know they can smell it, it's hanging in the air. Maybe I'm unlucky, or they just don't care. They know where to find me, running all over town, painting grasses greener, while looking like a clown. It's what I'm used to, it's not okay, but I don't know what to say. I'm addicted to the struggle, longing for the pain. Hand me the bottle, it won't end up in the drain. I'm addicted to the feeling of slowly driving insane. Give me all your bullshit, I'll be the last one to remain. Thrown her ex and rocks and kicked me to the dirt, with all my hopes and dreams that one really hurt. Well, I put on a big red smile and be a good girl. All I want is a place in this world. It's what I'm used to, it's not okay, but I don't know what to say. I'm addicted to the struggle, longing for the pain. Hand me the bottle, it won't end up in the drain. I'm addicted to the feeling of slowly driving insane. Give me all your bullshit, I'll be the last one to remain. Here I am with open arms for you to spit in my face. Here I am with all my charms for you to take them from me. I'm addicted to the struggle, longing for the pain. Hand me the bottle, it won't end up in the drain. I'm addicted to the feeling of slowly driving insane. Give me all your bullshit, I'll be the last one to remain. I'm addicted to the struggle, I'll be the last one to remain. I'm addicted to the struggle, I'll be the last one to remain.
The Alpha Sessions.
So that was Addicted to the Struggle by Pien. And I love that theme that you're delving into, because it's obviously that literal sense of being addicted, but also kind of that cognitive sort of psychology angle of the song. How often we will lean into what is familiar, even if sometimes that's not good for us. So I think there's a lot of depth to your songs and your songwriting. Is that something that just comes naturally, or something that you feel has grown as you've written, or something that you consciously want to inject in your songs?
Well, I've always been like a person, massive overthinking, definitely. So I guess the overthinking really helps because you're kind of analyzing things. And I also think since I haven't been in therapy for a couple of years now, but I was briefly in therapy. And I think what my therapist really taught me is just to analyze certain feelings. Whenever I'm feeling something, why am I feeling that? Why am I thinking that? Is that related to this, or is it all in my head? And funnily enough, I think that kind of, again, since I allowed myself to do this new approach to songwriting, it kind of slipped in there. And I don't know, I guess it's just fun to sometimes just look at yourself in like a helicopter kind of view and be like, why am I doing that? And maybe even don't think about it as yourself, but just as a character.
Sort of objectively sort of step out and analyse those behaviours or
I think it's in the first verse
traits.
or in the second verse where I'm like I'm painting grasses greener whilst looking like a clown. So it was literally me like stepping back from it and looking at myself, people pleasing all these other people and making a fool out of myself whilst I'm not aware of that. And now I am, because I'm taking a step back and looking at it now. So I don't know, it was just a very natural song that just came to me.
Just something that you, I guess, because if you naturally sort of are quite self-aware and analyse, I guess that would organically come through.
Absolutely, and I feel, again, once I allow myself to go there, it's almost like automatically every time when I have like a line and I keep writing and writing and writing, it just flows like that. And it's quite refreshing. It's funny. I know this quote, what is it, about Dolly Parton, who said like, oh, I don't need therapy because I have my songs. And I never really understood that. And now I have this, like, I guess, this different perspective and this new consciousness. And I'm a bit like, oh, I get it now. I'm not saying that don't need therapy.
It's a way. No, of course. But I mean, there is something in journaling or writing songs in a way that I found also can help you process different things, difficult experiences, or even good experiences.
Or even later in life. I find it easier to do it for things that happened to me, like, let's say, 10, 15 plus years ago than last week. But that's okay, because that, like, sometimes you just need the time to, like, heal.
The distance from something.
Yeah.
Performing obviously is really important to you and your artistry. Is that your favourite?
Oh yeah. I was a little born performer. Yeah.
What's coming up for you? Because I know you do have some London shows, hopefully in the pipeline, but one definite.
Yeah. So I have loads of a few festivals, like still TBC. But we have one on, I hope I say this right because I didn't actually check this. I should have, but I didn't check this before the interview. But I believe on the 15th of August, I'll be opening for Rose Ford and Datura at the Hope and Anchor, which will be in London. And then I'm not sure if I can already announce the other one, probably. We're going to do a very intimate, acoustic-y kind of gig with this promoter called Little Bellows. They're actually based in the Midlands. There are a few shows with them. But this will be their first London one at the Finsbury. A super acoustic-y, like I said, intimate evening on, I believe, the 17th of November. And yeah, I would say just keep an eye on my social media for all the TBC shows.
So I was going to say, that's the best place. Give your handle.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, so our listeners can make sure they stay in the loop.
Absolutely. I would indeed say like Instagram is the best way to stay up to date, to find everything, which is at Pien. That's Pien Music 3. And yeah, I'll
and all your, I'm assuming all your releases, all your news.
Basically, anything you need to know is on my Instagram or my website, which is www.pien, that's Pien, music.com. You can also subscribe to the newsletter, then I'll just hand it to you so you don't have to look it up. But yeah, you can just find me over there.
So lots of exciting things coming up for you. It's been such a pleasure having you here and finding out about your inspiration and what's coming up for you. Exciting things. Hopefully more writing as well.
Oh, absolutely.
More new songs.
I'm going to get cracking on that, indeed. Well, thank you so much for having me.
It's been amazing. I guess a final question.
Oh, yes.
So for someone who is discovering your music, discovering you as an artist, what song, out of all your songs, which one would you direct them to listen to first? Maybe as to introduce you to you, or if you have a special message for it, and why?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
I thought I'd end on something a little bit, a little bit deep.
Okay, what era am I going to direct them to? But I guess I'm not really good at writing fun songs, happy songs. I'm more, I guess, attracted to like the more depressing, sad kind of ones. But I released my last single called Here's To. And it's a super upbeat song where you can really see my personality in it. And Here's To is basically about, it's a very country, I think my most country song I have out so far. And Here's To is basically about everyone who broke your heart. So in my case, not just like ex-lovers and boyfriends, but also teachers, friends, their parents, family members, my own family, even random people on the streets or online, just everyone who broke your heart or told you you couldn't do what you always wanted to do. This one's to them because they all like broke my heart and trying to like kick me to the dirt, made me who I am today, and I'm celebrating that in that song. So, and I think it's a really important message that it doesn't matter how many times you feel broken, you can always get up and enjoy it and see, I guess, the bright side of that.
I think that's a really lovely message to end on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything, with the new releases, with your gigs, and hopefully we'll catch up very soon.
Absolutely.
The Alpha Sessions.
I'm happy.